From draining buckets to setting records, Gary Payton II looks like he's geared up to do it all. However, before we go ahead and start drawing comparisons between him and other players, let's take a step back and check out how he's doing in the NBA right now. I've got to say, he's outdoing himself in every game. When it comes to the Payton protege, he's doing wonders in the NBA right now. I'd even go so far as to say that he's one of the best players in the NBA right now. He keeps on putting up insane numbers night after night. It seems like this man just can't be stopped, no matter how hard the other coaches try to devise a strategy against it. There's a reason Payton is a household name for every basketball fan. He balled with the Golden State for a while before becoming a free agent a few months ago. However, his performance in the finals with the team suggests that he just might be what every team in the NBA needs right now. The man is one of the best players in terms of defense in the league right now. And the best part is, when it comes to offense, the man is unselfish and always plays with a team-first mindset. Though all of this might have led to y'all pondering on a big question. How good was he when he played for Golden State? Okay, so he managed to play 71 games with the Warriors and managed to ingrain himself as a key part of the rotation. That way, he became a vital player for the Warriors. It seems like their decision to pick him over Avery Bradley is a decision that paid off big time. It was with the Warriors that he was able to show off his defensive skills. He's a lockdown defender just like his father, and is often paired up against larger guards. Seeing him guarding players like Jason Tatum has become a common sight for Warriors fans. Even when taking a step back from defense, he makes sure to contribute to the offense. The player has a 45% defensive field goal percentage. That places him higher than both Al Horford and Klay Thompson. It's safe to say that he's a player that'll be sorely missed in the Warriors lineup. Anyways, with all that being said, you're probably wondering how he'd do when pitted against other NBA stars. For example, the best defender in the league right now is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is what every NBA team looks for in a defender. He's got the build to fend off even the strongest of opponents. He's got the athleticism to fend off opposing attackers and get those rebounds. And, best of all, he's able to score a triple-double every other game. The man is, in every sense of the word, a defensive god. However, the question is how he matches up with Gary Payton II. Well, if I'm being honest, they're pretty neck and neck with each other. At least in my opinion, they are. See, what Payton can't do in terms of driving toward the basket, he's able to make up for with his insanely good shooting percentage. That way, he's able to cancel out any offensive edge that Giannis has over him. However, when you talk defense, there's no competition here. Giannis is better, and that's a fact. It's not even Payton's fault, though, if you think about it. Antetokounmpo just has a better build for stopping opposing slashers. In the end, at least when comparing these two, it all came down to genetics. You can't fault Payton when it comes to things like that. Still, no matter how you look at things, Gary Payton is doing pretty awesome, all things considered. He's made a name for himself as a great defensive and offensive player. What more could he ask for? Well, we're about to find out as we pit him against a player more up his speed. I'm talking about none other than LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is one of the biggest young prospects in the NBA right now. The kid is an insane player and an absolute unit when it comes to offense. He might not be the biggest guy on the court, but he sure knows how to drain buckets. The kid currently plays for the Charlotte Hornets and is probably their most important player right now. He's vital for the Hornets offense. For some so young, he makes up for it with in-game IQ and his skills as a point guard. When you compare him to Gary Payton, one thing you can distinguish right away is the fact that they both have different roles in their respective teams. Payton is a shooting guard while Ball is a point guard, though there have been rare occasions when Ball has also played as a shooting guard for the Hornets. Now when it comes to offense, Payton is pretty good. As I mentioned before, he has some of the best stats in the Warriors. However, there's a reason why Ball is the Hornets' star player. The man seems like he can't miss whenever he shoots a basketball. Now, while LaMelo has Payton beat on offense, there's no question that Payton is the better defensive player. It's almost a meme at this point, man. The Ball brothers are, at best, okay at defense. They excel at racking up points for their teams, but that's about it. It's thanks to players like Payton that their opposition doesn't rack a ton of points up on their score too. So in terms of who'd end up being the more valuable player, I'm gonna have to go with Gary Payton II. Now, while we've compared him to a number 3 overall draft pick, you have to wonder how he'd end up faring against the first overall pick from last year's draft. Well, let's dig into the stats and find out. Paolo Banchero is one of the biggest NBA prospects from last year. He was picked as the number 1 over pick by the Orlando Magic. Since then, he's proved why he deserved to be picked first by the Magic. He currently plays as a power forward for the team, and that's why I think he'd be a good matchup for Payton II. See, both of these players excel at defense, and so far, apart from Giannis, no one's been able to prove a match for Gary's defensive excellence. So let's take a step back and figure out who would be the better ball player. Now, when it comes to Paolo Banchero, he's the classic slasher type player. What I mean is, he gets the ball, drives down to the basket, drains it in, and goes on. Rebounds are something that he excels at, which makes him vital for the Magic's lineup. Apart from being an insane ball player, he's also really awesome at playing for his team. Now, when we talk about Payton II, he's equally as awesome on defense and excels at getting his team involved. There's no footage out there of either of these two players getting a bit too selfish during a game. Honestly, if you ask me, these two are pretty much equal in terms of ability. However, all we've done so far is pit Payton against newer players. What happens when we match him up against a legend? I'm talking about none other than Larry frickin' Bird. When it comes to Larry Bird, we're mostly going to be checking out how offensively capable these two are. There's no point in trying to compare their defensive stats, as Payton is the clear winner in that department. However, when we look at how these two play offensively, it's a different story entirely. Larry Bird is one of the greatest players to have ever lived. That's mostly due to his innate ability to come in clutch and make game-winning shots. He's insanely talented when it comes to handling a basketball. However, when it comes to teamwork, he's more like the final man to pass to as opposed to a playmaker. He's like the old Kobe. If your team's down a few buckets, just start passing the ball to Bird and he'll take care of the rest. So in my opinion, this ability of his gets him the obvious win over Payton. And so we come to the final topic of discussion, which is if Gary Payton II is a player worthy of his name. Look, it's no secret that Payton has a lot of pressure on him at all times. He literally can't perform well in a game thanks to his dad's legacy. Gary Payton was an insanely good defensive player and is widely regarded as one of the best to have ever done it. Thankfully, it looks like the apple didn't fall too far from the tree, as Payton II seems to have inherited everything his dad gave to the game in terms of defense. As I mentioned before, Payton II was a staple part of the Warriors' rotation. Thanks to his versatile playstyle, he was able to become an integral part of both their offense and defense. There's no telling how good he'll get as his career progresses. He's still 29 years old, which means he's not out of his prime yet. There's still a lot more to see from Gary Payton. That was everything on how Gary Payton II stacks up against other NBA stars. See you in the next one.